Okay, hi everybody. It's Friday again. And there's a lot of noise going on outside, so hopefully it doesn't get too loud. I'm going to be doing a live event tomorrow, Saturday at 7 p.m., and that's Pacific time. So if you would like to join, I'm going to be talking about my near-death experience, also supernatural events, and if anybody has questions about anything, yeah, so we'll see how it goes. It's my very first one, and I'm a little nervous, but yeah. Anyway, today, though, I said that I would start going over Daniel, and I think we went, we didn't go through everything with Genesis, and I just wanted to kind of put a little bit there so you have better understanding what the great conflict is all about, and because that does help a lot to kind of know things. All right, so Daniel means God is my judge. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. Now Nebuchadnezzar, his name comes from Nebo, a god of learning. And he really was. I mean, he loved just knowledge, and so we'll go from there. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, Nebuchadnezzar, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar. Shinar is another name for Babylon, to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring a certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes. So the royal seed line and the nobles. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge. They were willing, they wanted to learn and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. So they being taught, they clothed, fed, everything, like a university, to at the end of the 3rd year to talk to the king in his tongue. Okay. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and Azariah of Abednego. And they all have different meanings too. Belshazzar, Ballot, Sue, User, protect thou, O Bel, his life. See, Shadrach is command of Aku, the moon god. Meshach who is as Abednego, servant or worshiper of Nego. So, all right, verse 8. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. And the Levitical laws are there for the health of our body. It's not so much of a sin, like you're going to die, or that he was just being kind of a picky eater. But he was wanting to go with the health laws. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink, for why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. King could cut off his head. Then Daniel said to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. So it's kind of like lentils. And also, we're going to have like up to a 10-day personal trial, when we're delivered up. So, prove thy servants, I beseech thee. Okay. Verse 13. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Let's see. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. So God had set them up, and now he's helping them. Just like with us, we asked if we would like more knowledge in something, the Holy Spirit is right there to help us. Now at the end of the days that king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. So this was after 3 years of hard work and study, and now they're going to stand before the king. And the king communed, he's speaking the language, with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. And God saw that they were separated and exceptional, and so he was really looking over them. Okay. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. That's the religious sect that they had at that time. And Daniel continued even into the first year of King Cyrus. All right. Chapter 2. And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. He had a bad dream. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and all the sorcerers and the Chaldeans to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. So the religious community, the magicians were there to repel evil spirits, and the astrology was there to tell the future, and the sorcerers were there to give them drugs, things like that, to look into the future and get information. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Sirach. This is the end of Hebrew here. O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. And the king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. It's a very harsh treatment. So, it was you had to be like right on. So, but if ye show the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. So he had forgotten the dream, and now he wants them to tell him what his dream was. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. And the king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. They're gonna use that time to make up something. But if ye will make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you, for ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such a thing at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. We can't do that. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and was very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. This included Daniel. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom from God to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and he said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. So that was the first time he heard of anything. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went into his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions. So if you know something, if God gives you something, you should share with your fellow Christians, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning the secret, and that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. So God always gives you a way out, no matter what. And if you noticed here that Daniel didn't say, I did it. He blessed God and thanked him. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his, and all knowledge and wisdom comes from God. And he changes the time and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us, the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded, cannot the wise men, the astrologers, and the magicians, the soothsayers, show unto the king? But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, which should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. So he's saying God is doing this. It isn't with him. God revealed it to him. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, it was shining, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. It was awesome to see. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them into pieces. Okay. Then was the iron and the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Okay, so it goes into the explanation of this now, but if you look at the weight in the gold, you notice that this thing is very top heavy, and that iron and clay don't mix. And this is the thing that the fallen angels in Noah's time and even after, that they had sex with women, and so they had these giants. This is kind of what's going to be happening in the end time, where the fallen angels are cast out with Satan, and down here on earth, de facto. This is the dream. Okay, this is chapter 2, verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength. So this is God's servant. He put him there. And whatsoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, hath he, God, given into thine hand, and has made thee ruler over all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh, all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. So the Mohammedans and the dome, and then in 1948, the parable of the fig tree, which the Mohammedans and the Jewish nation, so they kind of share it, and this is the time of the Gentiles too. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And this is the end times. This is the last Babylonian type of kingdom that will ever be brought up. This is Satan's last chance. And I'll keep going on. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And these 10 toes are the 10 supernatural kings that are coming with Satan, and they'll be rulers. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So Christ is coming back to reestablish his kingdom, God's kingdom on earth, which has always been our home. And Satan's kingdom is going to disappear into the wind. All right. For as much as thou sawest that the stone, which is Christ, was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So there is so much talking about this, but these were like Alexander coming up, and all these different parts of the Babylonian kingdom, and it's going to be destroyed. This is his last time. However, at the end of the millennium, then after that 1,000 years, Satan is going to be allowed to go out one more time to the nations and to deceive them, and that's their very last. I mean, the whole purpose of this is to test everybody to get to the eternities and be set back to where we were before the catapult, and to get rid of all evil, everything evil. And God doesn't want, he's not a tyrant. He doesn't demand worship, he could have made it to where everybody was made, they didn't have like a free mind to worship who they wanted to worship. He could have made it where, that's all you did. Just make it to where you worship him. But, so that's where we're at now. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. This isn't good. The king answered unto Daniel and said, Of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods, and a Lord of lords, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal the secret. The king made Daniel a great man, a noble, and gave him many gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. So over the religious section of the astrologers, and all that. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Okay. Now, let's see, we're on about 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and load this one up, and then we'll start on chapter 3. So we've been through 1 and 2. Okay.